Tara, I have one that has these sacs that look like raw egg yolk in her feces regularly. It doesn't seem to matter the food. Vet tested feces and regular finds stress bacteria. She does have anxiety and panic attacks. What are these? And is there any supplements, foods that would help? So, um, I'm not sure what you're referring to. So I'd have to see the stool. I'd have to see what it looks like. I'd want to look at like diagnostic tests. So unfortunately, I can't say exactly like what that is based on that description. I would say the stress bacteria is probably your spirochetes. And those are the things where, as a vet, we look under the stools, like that we get a stool sample, we look under the microscope, and they're like little squirmy things and they're constantly moving. And a lot of times what happens is your vet goes, you have an overgrowth of bacteria, the spirochetes. We need to treat with metronidazole or tylosin. And then as you have been finding out throughout the past 3 days, we just wreck the microbiome. And whenever I see spirochetes, I go, that's not something that we need to use antibiotics with. That tells me there is one, like you mentioned so beautifully, this is a stress response. And this is also why when we have irritated, like an irritated gut lining, we have leaky gut, the microbiome is off. A lot of times we see those anxious behaviors. We see pets that are more jumpy, that are nervous, that are frightened. And that's where we have to go, okay, animal biome test. What microbes are present? You know, we talked a lot about on the first night for our Q&A, that hair tissue test. Is your pet have heavy metals? I saw someone post in the Facebook group about ileus and no one can figure out ileus. Immediately what I'm thinking is there a heavy metal? Is there, or also probably alongside that, is magnesium off? Because magnesium is essential. For one, it's a great calming mineral. Two, we need it for gut health. So a lot of times if that magnesium is off, we're either tending towards constipation or loose stool. And so when we know what we're treating, it makes it a lot easier to treat rather than, once again, taking some mud and throwing it and hoping it sticks to the wall. So that's where these tests can be really powerful. The beautiful thing is for a lot of them, you can run these tests yourself. They don't even have to go through a veterinarian. I do recommend working with a vet because you can spend a lot of money on tests and the path forward can be less expensive, easier, less stressful having the guidance over time. But check those out, because if your pet is getting nowhere, that's where we need to go. We need to do more tests to figure out what's happening and go from there. But there's a lot of things. They're leaky gut, you know, start with figuring out, well, what's going on in the microbiome, making sure we don't have vitamin B12 deficiencies, doing that GI panel from Texas A&M, asking your veterinarian to send in blood work and looking for small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. We'll be able to see that with the folate levels, cobalamin, B12. So there's a lot of different factors that we can look at, but definitely start with some of the tests that have been coming up with each